Trying to get in trouble with religious people? It's this week's Collage of the Week. Hello. This week's one is another early one. I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm not starting right, always very at the beginning, and then you'll see my latest pieces about 20 years down the line, which is around. Well, I've been doing this more like almost 25 years actually. It's just the way it's turned out. These just picked these earlier ones just because I remember them fondly, and I will get to some later ones fairly soon. This is one called Religious Nuts. The title itself came just from the fact that I placed a bunch of nuts on the picture of the Last Supper as what they're eating. So I'm not really having a go at religion per se, and certainly not any religious group. Although the exhibition that I did in a cafe in Coventry that's unfortunately no longer there anymore. In fact, I can't even remember what it was called. Some woman came up to me, and because basically my friends and I frequented there all the time anyway, and so the guy who ran it, was entertained enough by us to allow me to have this exhibition. So we all just sat around there all the time. So I was always on hand to answer questions. And I did have some woman go to me, "Is this about the Jesus Army?" And I thought, oh, that's why. Why do you think of that? It's just because basically the army stripes on St. Peter's arm, and it's just I didn't put that in there for the purpose of making a specific statement. I don't very often do that. I just sometimes put these things there because I thought, hey, wouldn't it be funny to put that there? Which is why Jesus is wearing some kind of weird artist beret, and why he's holding a peanut in his hand. It's the same reason why there's a seal in the background, just for the absurdity of it. I mean, thankfully nobody's accused me of having a go at Hindus because there's a cow on the table. But it's one of those ones that I feel has stood the test of time, at least in my eyes, about how I feel about it. There were some pieces I made that seemed like a really good and funny idea at the time, or certainly seemed very good idea in my head. Come to make it, doesn't really work. This is one that I feel works, but it's one of those ones where if you see it, I've digitally altered it in some sense because I took this picture it was across 2 pages, so as you can see this line here where I glued them together. So just for the sake of it looking nice, I've airbrushed out the horrible black line in the past. But I think it's nice for you to see the actual raw picture when I can. Occasionally, sometimes nowadays I will more often not do digital pieces just for the laziness of I can sometimes find high quality images on Google, or if it's something I really don't from a source I really don't want to destroy, I'll scan it in and I'll make it digitally. So, but it's not for those who really appreciate the old school analog style. This is why I show you here like this. In fact, it's old enough that this is before I started putting my signature on things. So that's how old it is. I think it may be sort of 97 or something, and I'll see if there is yes, the date is on the back. And yes, it is. As you can see, it's 1996, even older than that. So this one is 21 years old as this is recorded. And as you see, this old rule, what I used to do of putting sellotape to put things down where that's sticking out the back so it doesn't get torn up, didn't really affect the piece in this instance because it's on a white backing and it's all through thick paper. But it's a little collage lesson for you: don't use sellotape on the back if you can avoid it. So here we have it back. So yes, I'm very happy with this piece. I know I've been saying that a lot, but I'm obviously showing you the ones I'm happy with. But if you'd like to see any pieces that tickle your fancy and like to hear more about, then please comment on the show notes, let me know. And of course, follow me on Facebook, sorry, on Twitter or Instagram, and of course the links for those are again in the show notes, as is the link for my website, the Collage Art Magazine, and my merch pages, and where you can also buy my book, which actually this piece is not in there because I left out all the pieces that were mentioning anything about religion for this one, because I wasn't sure how strict Amazon were going to be about this kind of thing. So I think they're probably going to be all right. All right. So this piece may end up in the next book, which I have a title for, which I'm going to keep on my hat for now. So see you next week.
Cut, cut, glue, glue, collage.